Good afternoon, everyone. I am Edma Ligaldo, and I am assigned to report to you the topic music notation symbols. So, music notations are symbols used to make a written record of musical sounds. These symbols are used to represent orally perceived music with instruments or sung by human voice. It tells the performer what notes to play, how fast or slow to play them, and instruction about dynamics and timbre. Before I will discuss to you the musical symbols, let us discuss first the staff. So the staff is the basis of written music. It is what the notes are presented on. It consists of 5 lines with 4 spaces between them. So as you can see on the picture, the clefs, the notes, and the rest are written on the staff. So the staff is the foundation of music notation. The staff can be thought of as a musical graph on which music notes, rest, and musical symbols are placed to indicate to the readers the specific pitch of a note. So the first musical symbols that I will be discussing to you is the clef. The clef is a sign at the beginning of the staff of music which makes it possible for the player to work out what the notes are. So from my example here, the clef is at the beginning of the staff, and this clef is called a treble clef. So treble clef indicates the pitches of the notes on the staff. It is also called G clef since it symbolizes, or since its style is like the letter G. So the treble clef can be found in the treble staff. So the treble staff begins with the first letter as an E. Each successive space and line is the next letter in the musical alphabet. The staff ends with the last line as an F. One of the most common phrases to remember the names of the line is "Every good boy that's fine." To remember the spaces, just remember that they spell face starting from the bottom. So what you can see from the picture, it shows there that the musical symbols are arranged that way. So the spaces are F, A, C, E, and the lines are E, G, B, D, E, or every good boy does fine. The next musical symbol that I will discuss to you is the bass clef. The bass clef is a large symbol on the bottom staff or bass staff in piano music. The bass clef is also called an F clef because it wraps around the highest F note on the bass staff. The bass clef governs bass notes which fall around middle C and below. So bass clef is a type of musical clef used by instruments that play low pitch notes. So bass clefs can be found in the bass staff. So this is the arrangement of the notes in the bass staff. The bass clef uses the same musical alphabet as treble, but the letters start in different places. Instead of an E, the bottom line is a G, and the letters proceed logically from there. The lines on the bass clef from bottom to top are G, B, D, F, A, or good boys don't fight anyone, and the spaces are A, C, E, G, or all cows eat grass. So in order for you to memorize easily the arrangement of the musical alphabet, just remember the phrases. So the phrases are good boys don't fight anyone the space for the lines, and the spaces are all cows eat grass. So the next musical symbol is the C clef. The C clef can move on the staff, and the center of the symbol is always over middle C, depending on where it is. It is given different names. The note beside each clef is middle C. These clefs are used very infrequently, meaning players or pianist does not usually use this clef. Next is the grand staff. When the bass and treble clef are combined and connected by brace, just like what we see in the illustration, and lines, they become the grand staff. This greatly increases the range of pitches that can be noted, and is often used in piano music due to the piano's wide range. So this grand staff is usually used by piano musicals, since it has a wide range of notes. So next is the measures. The vertical lines on the staff marks the measures. Measures are used to divide and organize music. The time signature determines how many beats can be in a measure. The thick double bar marks the beginning and ends of a piece of music. Measures are sometimes marked with numbers to make navigating a piece easier. The first measure would be measured 1, the second measures 2, and so on. So, these are the bar lines. Bar lines are used to separate measures. Double bold bar line or bold double bar line used to indicate the conclusion of a movement of an entire composition. So as what we can see here in our illustration or in our example, bar lines or double bar lines can be put in the beginning and the ending of the composition. Next is the dynamic symbols. There are two dynamic symbols. The first one is crescendo. Crescendo is a gradual increase in volume, can be extended under many notes to indicate that the volume steadily increases during the passage. The second is the decrescendo, a gradual decrease in volume, can be extended in the same manner as crescendo. So, the crescendo is the increasing of volume, while the decrescendo is the decreasing in volume. Next is the pianissimo. Pianissimo is a musical notation indicating that the piece should be played quieter than pianissimo. So, pianissimo is played very, very quiet. Next is pianissimo, very soft. Usually, the softness indication in a piece of music. Those softer dynamics are often specified with additional P. So, pianissimo is very quiet. Next is piano or soft, usually the most used indication. So, we can hear from the piano musicals that the notes or the sounds are soft. So that is piano is what usually used. Next is mezzo piano, half as soft as piano or moderately quiet. Next is mezzo forte, similarly half as loud as forte. If no dynamic appears, mezzo forte is assumed to be prevailing dynamic level. Next is forte or loud, used as often as piano to indicate contrast. So, Pianissimo, pianissimo is the softness of the sound of music. And here, forte is the loudness of the music. Next is fortissimo, very loud. So from loud, here comes very loud. Usually the loudest indication in a piece, though louder dynamics are often specified with additional Fs. Fortissimo, extremely loud. So it is super loud that it can make you deaf. Very infrequently does one see louder dynamics than this, which are specified with additional Fs. Sforzando, literally forced, denotes an abrupt, fierce accent on a single sound or chord. When written out in full, it applies to the sequence of sounds or chords under or over which it is placed. So the next are sharp, flat, and natural. So flat lowers the pitch of a note by one semitone. So flat, or the symbol flat, is like the letter B, is what we can see in the picture, beside the note. The next is the sharp. Sharp raises the pitch of a note by one semitone. So the sharp is like the hashtag symbol in our keyboards, which indicates that the tone should be raised one semitone. Next is natural. Natural cancels a previous accidental. So all the notes that are put before the natural symbol are cancelled. Next is the fermata. Fermata is a pause, an indefinitely sustained note, chord, or rest. Usually appears over all parts at the same metrical location in a piece to show a halt in tempo. It can be placed above or below the note. So when you see a fermata or fermata in a staff, it means that the sound or the note should be halted or paused. So the next to be discussed is the musical notes. Note represents the pitch and duration of a musical sound. The first type of note is the whole note or semibreve. A hollow and oval note head represents a whole note or a semibreve. The length of a full note is equivalent to 4 beats in a 4/4 time. A whole note receives 4 counts, which means you have to hold a note for its full volume at 4 beats. So, the picture shown is the symbol for a whole note. Next is half note or minim. So, half note played for half the duration of a semibreve. In other words, a minim receives 2 counts, allowing the musician to hold the note for 2 counts instead of 4. The minim, like the semibreve, is a hollowed oval with a stem or tail attached. So the beat for the minim is 2 beats. The next is a quarter note or crochet. A quarter note is half of a minim and 1/4 of a full note. It is represented by a field and oval. Like the minim, a quarter note has a tail or stem attached to the note head, which points upward or downwards depending on how the note falls in a musical piece of work. And the beat for a quarter note is 1. Next is the eighth note or quaver. So eighth note played for 1/8 duration of a whole note or semibreve. It is represented by a field in oval with a stem accompanied with a flag. The flag is always positioned on the right side of the stem. and its beat is 1/2 beat. So quarter note is shown in the picture. Next is the 16th note or semiquaver. 16th note is played for 1/16th the duration of a whole note. It is represented by a filled-in oval note head with a straight stem like a quaver with two flags, and its beat is 1/4 beat. So that's the symbol for the 16th note. So the next are the rest. There are 5 types of rest. So in music there is a rest, and the first type of rest is the whole rest. The whole rest represent 4 beats of silence. So if there is 4 beats of sound, there is also 4 beats of silence. Next is the half rest. A half rest gets 2 beats. Each half rest represents 2 beats of silence. 2 half rest is equals to 1 whole rest. So when from the whole rest symbol, the cap is positioned below while or positioned downward, while the half rest, the cap is positioned upward. Next is the quarter rest. So the quarter rest gets 1 beat. 2 quarter rest is equals to 1/2 rest. 4 quarter rest is equals to whole rest. Each quarter rest represents 1 beat of silence, and that is the symbol for a quarter rest. Next is the 8th rest. An 8th rest gets 1/2 beat. 2 8th rest is equals to 1 quarter rest. 8th rest is equals to 1 whole rest. Each 8th rest represents 1/2 beat of silence. And the picture below, or the picture indicated, is the symbol for the 8th rest. The next and the last type of rest is the 16th rest. So a 16th rest gets 1/4 beat. 2 16th rest is equals to 1 8th rest. 16 16th rest is equals to 1 whole rest. So each 16th rest represents 1/4 beat of silence, and the symbol for the 16th rest is shown in the picture. So that ends my report for today. Thank you for listening and watching. Goodbye.